The first US presidential debate of 2024 was a battle between two men who at some point believed they won the 2020 election, as they took to the stage to trade schoolyard insults.
You're the sucker. You're the loser.
He should apologize to me right now.
You have the morals of an alley cat.
He's the worst president in the history of our country.
First, the big difference in this 4 years in the making rematch was the new debate rules. CNN could mute the microphones of the candidate not speaking, and there was no studio audience. After both candidates shuffled onto the stage, what followed was a little over 90 minutes of excruciating live TV that had many wondering if maybe, perhaps, fact-checking candidates during a debate might be a good idea. Both candidates made misstatements throughout the night.
Take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs.
That's misleading. Employment rates had begun ticking up pretty quickly after an initial dip at the beginning of the pandemic. But Trump led the way when it came to the sheer volume of false and misleading statements about the economy.
We're the greatest economy in the history of our country.
Abortion.
They're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth.
Taxes.
He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times.
Foreign influence.
He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China.
And the environment.
I had the best environmental numbers ever.
My Guardian colleagues fact-checked the night, so here goes. Economic growth wasn't as high as it was during Clinton's administration. Less than 1% of abortions in the US are performed at or past 21 weeks. Biden proposed a tax increase of about 7% over the next 10 years. There's no evidence Biden has been paid for by China. And best environmental numbers? What does that even mean? On the topic of the Middle East, the limitations of the debate format became apparent.
What additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Wow, a whole 2 minutes. And when the candidates were asked to defend their age, they did it the only way old men do, by arguing about golf.
I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I had, you know how many...
I've seen you swing, I know you swing.
An undercurrent of the evening was the ghost of January 6, 2021, a topic Trump initially made sound like a good thing, by talking about the date without talking about the one big thing that happened on it.
Let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world.
And as for whether Trump would agree to accepting the results of the election, it only took 3 attempts to get a qualified answer.
Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election? The question was, will you accept the results of this election regardless of who wins? Will you accept the results of the election regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely.
The sad reality is that at the end of the night, in terms of how the candidates presented to the audience, Trump may not have said much that was truthful, but to anyone watching without knowing all the facts, he sounded alright saying it. And the strict question time has managed to make Biden's attempts to search for the right word into gaffes.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare...
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right, he did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
I can't wait to watch another one of these.